Bandura's self-efficacy model. Another theory or model within the range of expectancy theories is Bandura's self-efficacy model. Now, what is this model? The self-efficacy model argues or asserts that the belief in one's own capability to organize one's own learning, to execute a course of action, this belief that I can do it and I can organize my learning and I can achieve the goal, that is called self-efficacy. And it's extremely important to be successful in second language learning if that is the goal, or in the achievement of any goal that you want to achieve. So the question is, how many of our learners actually who strive to learn the second language have this sense of self-efficacy? So the self-efficacy model, and there are certain indicators for it if you look it up in more detail, and you could also actually use it for some research in your own classroom setting. This model actually argues that the beliefs that the learners have about their own potential or about their own capability of learning will actually affect the amount of effort the learner will actually use in the task. It will also determine the extent of time the learners will invest in learning the second language. So the belief whether I can do it or I cannot do it will also affect personal investment, involvement and engagement of the learner. And the other thing is that they will also then devote more or less time to achieve that goal. So if the learners are actually being involved, and if the learners are putting in more effort and more time because they have this higher sense of self-efficacy, then we as teachers can guess that of course they will succeed in the second language learning task more than other learners who have a low sense of self-efficacy. So this self-efficacy model would say that the learners who are highly motivated and who end up being successful in learning the second language actually have a high sense of self-efficacy. They have this internal locus of control. Now, what do we mean by having an internal locus of control? This would mean, and this relates somehow to the attribution theory that we talked about, they believe that they can control what is going on. They can change the course of action. They can affect the results. So in case they are failing, that means not that they don't have the ability to succeed, but because they are not putting in enough effort or they are not being involved enough. So once they do it, they can change things. So that means they have this inner locus of control. They can control their own actions and they believe in themselves. These learners are also more positive towards learning itself. So they are ready to take on risks because they have a positive attitude towards learning. And then they are not only interested in working in groups, that is social relatedness. They don't even want to, not only want to see how language relates in a social context. They are willing to take the risk. They are willing to use the language, but they are also more autonomous. They believe they can set the direction of their own learning. So they can decide how much or how many hours a day they need to or they can actually put in to learn a second language learning task.